Anaya stopped her car in front of it. It was creepy, plain and simple, and it scared the life out of her just thinking about it. She looked around, and it was isolated. A big space that was otherwise occupied with trees. It was a big, double-story old house. The dark green vines that wrapped themselves around the cracked walls of the house like slimy snakes. Anaya had known and heard all the horror stories about the old house, and she had known the enigma the house had held for her. And yet, here she stood, despite all that. Anaya still decided that she would come here and see herself. She tried to steady her breathing as she put a foot on one of the creaky wooden steps of the porch. She took the steps slowly, one by one, taking her time. Anaya put her hand on the doorknob and opened it. She was immediately hit by a gust of ice-cold wind that sent chills down her spine. She hesitated as she walked inside and looked around. She saw no pictures on the walls, nothing. Whatever surface was there, it was covered with an unhealthy layer of dust. Deciding that all the ghost stories were just urban legends made up by the people in town to frighten the children from going to investigate, Anaya started looking around. Nothing of her interest was on the ground level. She went upstairs. She put a shaky hand on the banister and was greeted by a sticky spiderweb. She stifled a scream, quickly wiped her hand off the soft denim of her jeans. The familiar feel of it made some of the uneasiness in her stomach disappear. The stairs creaked with every step she took, making her think that the old brittle wood could give in at any time, causing her to fall. She was alone, and nobody knew where she was. If something happened to her, no one would know, or even notice. Anaya finally got to the top of the staircase and sighed in relief. The next breath that she was about to take got stuck in her throat as she saw a shadow move across the hall. Shrugging it off as just her imagination to calm herself, she continued in search of something that would help her unravel the secrets of the house. She wondered about the people who had lived in the house last. It was probably decades ago, judging by the state of it. She wondered what had happened if someone had died in it. If it was something that could explain the sadness the house oozed out. She went into one of the rooms on the left side of the house. She could see nothing in front of her. The darkness of the night cut off her sense of sight. Anaya's heart suddenly started racing. Something did not feel right at all. She turned around but could not see where the door had been. Things suddenly seemed darker than it had been before. Fear now overtook her. She tried to call out, but words would not form in her mouth. All she could hear was the sound of her own heart pumping blood. Nothing else. Until a bang and a soft click. Anaya immediately realized what it was. The door had shut and locked. Who could be here, expecting her? She regretted her previous assumptions that the stories about the house were just urban legends. She knew that she had made a mistake by coming here. Anaya realized again that she was alone, that no one would notice her missing. She finally managed to let out a blood-curdling scream, but it was too late. Way too late. The shadow that she had seen muffled her cry in the darkness. Anaya would forever be lost in the darkness that she had thought to be so.